Hello my soccer universe. On the first weekend of September 25 I had the pleasure of visiting one of my favorite cities again, which is of course Prague. My wife had some stuff to do there and we tagged along as the family, and as the circumstances around that one were not ideal. You know, it's the first weekend during the school year here and there were other things happening as well around us that, you know, it was actually quite intense, but the one full day in Prague I did fully enjoy. The last time we visited Prague, and you can watch the video right here, these items here materialized, at least in the aftermath. I got the scarf up there from Sparta that I absolutely love with the skyline of Prague here on the back. And I finally figured out what the missing landmark is, which is of course this one here to the left, which is the Prague metronome. Didn't know about that. I mean, I had been 3 times to Prague up until that point. I didn't figure out that there's a metronome up there, but it made so much sense because it's really a stone's throw away from the Letno Stadium where Sparta Prague are playing. So this scarf I got there in the shop. I also got, I think, a shirt for Idris, and then I went to go to the Slavia shop, which was close to a hotel, and the Bohemians shop, but it was a national holiday in the Czech Republic on the 28th of October. And all of these were closed, and so in the aftermath of that I ordered these 2 shirts plus this Czech Republic shirt from, you know, Willhaben and the Puma store directly. Now this time around I didn't want to mess around at all, and I said to my family, you know, the first thing we should do, we're arriving Friday in the evening. On Saturday Slavia is playing a home game. I don't necessarily want to go there when there are many fans around there. We need to go to Slavia fan shop, and it's kind of sort of conveniently located on the route from Linz to Prague. Yes, it was a slight detour. We were staying on the western part of Prague, so across the Vltava river. But I said we have to go to the Slavia fan shop first. There's a mall right next to it where we can park easily, so we won't even mess around too much. And I was actually not really planning on Sparta. I saw the Bohemians will be a hard trip, and I honestly was not that much aware of Dukla, although thinking about it now, that would have been actually a really great one to visit too. But for the next trip to Prague, I'm gonna try Bohemians and Dukla, I would say. But I went to Slavia. I said I've been to the Sparta fan shop, not necessary to do so. But then on Saturday I had a day with the girls, and you know, we ended up in a tram that conveniently and without any planning on my part, led us to the Sparta fan shop. But I was hoping actually to get the jersey that last time I couldn't get the home jersey because it was too expensive for me. But they weren't selling it there, so they only had the home jersey, and I thought it is too expensive. I thought it was about 100 euros or whatever. Grave miscalculations, I missed about 20 euros. I figured out a little bit later while, you know, looking at some bills that we had paid there. And yes, it's inconvenient that the Czech Republic still doesn't have the euro, but you know, there are for sure good reasons for that. And so yeah, I left it, but I left there a little bit sad because it's already the second time that I exit the Sparta fan shop without a jersey. The last time I had at least somebody show up in this jersey, and then I saw it a few weeks later on Willhaben, a few days later on Willhaben. Of course, had to get it for the memory. But what always bugged me is that, you know, I have this Slavia home jersey and I have this Sparta kind of away jersey, although it kind of also fits with the home jersey. But you know, they're not really a contrast to each other. That always kind of bugged me, and I like Sparta's home colors too. So I was moping around a little bit, blah 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 blah, and then my wife said, you know, I was actually swearing when I got out of the Sparta fan shop, the next time I'm there, I'm gonna buy something. And I was moping around, and on Sunday, although it was the day to leave, we decided to go up to the Strahov Gardens, and from there it's not too far from to the Sparta fan shop. And my wife said, you know, go there and get a shirt for you. You really earned that, you know, by driving us, blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, like a little kid, I said, of course you're gonna do that. And here's the fallout. I have one bag from Slavia, I have one bag from Sparta, the 2 eternal rivals, the S rivals as far as I know they're called in Prague. Let's gonna look at these jerseys. I wanna say let's go chronologically, let's go to Slavia. Bigger bag, definitely bigger bag, and also a little bit more spent there, and 2 items. 2 items for that one. The first item is, because I want to level it out, is of course a scarf. And let me show you this scarf, because it's actually quite cool. It's based on the 25-26 third jersey, and it features here a map of Prague on this side. And what really annoys me is, if I hold it like that, the map is upside down. North is down. That does not make a whole lot of sense to me. And yes, I know the geography of Prague meanwhile quite well, so that does annoy me slightly. But there's the map of Prague. But what really made me buy that one is, of course, we have the Prague castle up there. I like to get my scarves with landmarks. We have this one with the silhouette. Now I have one from the other team from Prague with the castle, and I think it makes it really nice. There's some few more really nice detail, like the SKS, which is probably the first name that Slavia had. So I absolutely love this scarf. The only weird thing is, given where Slavia are located now in Eden, the castle is actually much closer to Letna, which is their original stomping grounds, but this is also where Sparta are currently located. So that I found weird. But then on the other side, you know, you're from Prague, and I think the castle is the most dominant thing that you know, everyone would connect the castle of Prague with the city as a kind of mainland landmark. So I do understand it. But yeah, this is the entire scarf, and so now we have equality on the scarf front already. So, move the things from the last visit over to here, and now we're filling up the background with what I got for this visit to Prague. I also have to say that the material of this scarf up there is a very different one. It's not like the cloth material, it's rather sturdy in a way, and the scarf of course is printed. I would worry a little bit about longevity, but you know, whatever it is. They actually had scarves in the, or based on the designs for all 3 of the current jerseys, which I thought was interesting. But what made this special is that the third jersey has a map of Prague on it. It's white with kind of blue lines, so a little bit the inverse of the blues part, but it doesn't have the castle on it, because that would have made the third jersey probably for me almost the one to go to. However, they had another one. And you know, I was not gonna get the home jersey, although I do actually enjoy that one with the stars along the center. It's kind of interesting. I was a little bit disappointed that they had switched suppliers to Castori, but you know, meanwhile I have a good Castori collection. What I got, of course, was, and drum roll, this away jersey. A contrasting one. Now, when it comes to away jersey, I think the one from the 2021 that was then also used in 21-22 is probably the ultimate, with the seal of Prague on there. But I have to say, this jersey here was one that I absolutely liked, and then I showed it also to my kids and my wife, and I said, this is a great shirt, you should get this one. And so here it is. The current away jersey. This is the fan version. They also had the player version in there, which was a little bit more expensive. And interestingly enough, the fan version had this star here kind of as a silicone effect. And the stars on top looked a little bit better. I mean, these are stitched stars, and I like stitched stars, especially for Castori, where we know they have problems with the longevity of the logos. But these stars here are stitched. And I have to say, they didn't look as sharp, but now I don't mind them at all. But of course it's about the pattern. You know, we have black, we have the star here in black in this purplish outline. And I honestly wonder, couldn't we have made the star maybe in a different color as well? But you know, it is what it is. And then this splashed pattern, you know, it is purple with pink splashes, something totally different. And I went to the store, I left my wife and my older daughter in the mall. The little daughter went with me, and she said, this one is absolute wonderful. Purple is her favorite color, although I've been trying to get her to black and white, but you know, it's fine. It's a cool jersey, I have to say. I had also the option to print it also, and this would have added on. I decided, since I already get the scarf, to leave the jersey blank. So it's the same on front and back, and I honestly am thinking of actually wearing this one out as well. I decided to go with double XL. I think the XL would have fit, or was it, no, they didn't have that many XLs there, and I thought double XL, especially with the player versions, you had to go up, but Calstory I'm not 100% sure yet. I said let's go a little bit safer with the slightly larger sizing, you know, just to have a shirt that you always can wear. And I also want to point out the sleeve cuffs with the purple and the white. It's actually pretty cool. I have to say, this is quite a special jersey, and it provides quite a nice contrast to the home jersey that I already have. And before I hang it, here is also this logo that we saw on the scarf, the SKS, and then the O. I'm not sure if this had to do something with Sokol, which is Falcon in Czech, but also it was kind of a sports movement. So there could be a connection that you probably can look up on Wikipedia or other places, but I actually find this quite interesting. I think this is from 1892, the first logo of Slavia here on the back. I have to say, maybe it doesn't come through how great this jersey is here in the video, because you know it is so dark and I have a bright background here, but I absolutely love the way this one looks and feels. And we'll stay a little bit on the darkish side, because you know I have this Sparta away jersey from I think 2006, and I actually really like striped jerseys like that, and maybe in the video we should do it like this. I honestly would love to somehow get a Fortuna print for the center here, because it just looks empty. I don't like this bar here. My older daughter even said, why is this jersey not finished? Why didn't they do it? And I said, yeah, because there's a sponsor there. Whatever. It's not a problem we have with this one from Sparta. And by the way, the bags cost extra at these stores, and I have to say they are the same price, but the Sparta bag is a little bit teeny. That I found rather interesting, but the jersey fits in there. Now, I tried a few sizes. L was hopelessly too small. I mean, my wife, when I go there with my wife, she wants me to try and to make it fit. I had an L and a double XL, and while the double XL felt comfy, she said it doesn't look like right. Then she found the XL, and that's what we ended up with. So I walk over to the counter, and they just take them out from the back. A jersey that is packed, and that I found very interesting. So which jersey did I get? They have a really interesting third jersey. They of course have the home jersey that already was in use of last season, and yeah, let's see. It is of course the home jersey. I mean, while the third jersey is interesting, I think one has to get home jerseys first. And yes, I always said I like Sparta better with a little bit white accents, but I have to say this jersey I really enjoyed. First time I saw it in the Champions League, I think they really beat the bejesus out of Salzburg. So from that moment on I really liked it. I also like that, you know, this is now ever since Adidas took over, they have this Sparta logo, kind of a simplified version of the old one. But for this one they just went with the S, which I think is a really cool touch. So here it is. It's Adidas, so I would say slightly better materials over Castori, so that's a win for Sparta for sure. Adidas do quality products. I mean, we can always, it's maybe a little bit too templatey, but the quality is usually never in doubt. And that's the jersey. Yes, it's this template that we saw from Euro 2004, and again has, like the Jamaica jersey, this kind of webbed material, and all the other jerseys that I have except for the Lask jersey, which I want to repeat for that. And so yeah, we have here the Adidas logo, we have the Sparta logo, and it's just the S, and then of course the sponsor, which I wonder, couldn't we have fitted potentially in between two of the lines? But then on the other side, since it is not a box, it actually doesn't bother me all that much. I really like this pinstriping, and I think Adidas did a really great job of having lots of club jerseys with pinstriping last year, or you know, even some thinner striping. On the back it just says, and I find it a bit curious, Sparta dot. Sparta dot. Well, it is Sparta dot. It's, I guess, the be all and the end all. We can of course discuss here these black patches. Couldn't they have been just in this darkish red tone as well as going down from here, these thorns. They connect nicely with the shorts. This is worn with white shorts, which I think is a really cool look, and then the black doesn't look that bad. What it does miss a little bit, while I really like that it's just the S for Sparta, what I love about the Sparta logo, and I think it gets a little bit lost in this monochromatic digital world, that we have down here the club's colors, which are blue, yellow and this dark red. And maybe a hint of that here would have been potentially nice, but other than that, it's a shirt that I really enjoy. Same thing on the back. Again, I was thinking, should I get a name set on it, blah 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 blah. They were selling them actually there, right there with name sets, but in the end I decided to go blank again. I more want to wear this jersey, although choosing a Czech player with all the hot checks and so on there would have been something really interesting. Okay, there we go. That's the haul from Prague. Prague 23 and the aftermath here. Prague 25, aftermath back there. Pretty pleased with those, and as I said, next time around I maybe will just enjoy the city, or Bohemians and Dukla. I really would like to get Bohemians because of the kangaroo on there. That makes it so special to me, and therefore that would be really nice. But you know, we'll see about that. In any case, please let me know what you think about these two jerseys. Would you have made the same choices? Would you have gone with different ones? Just to make it a little bit more interesting, let's just put them all together. These are my jerseys from the Czech Republic so far. Club teams, it's of course only Slavia and Sparta, but those are also the two biggest ones. České Budějovice would be nice, I said. The two other teams from Prague would be nice. Dukla for the history, although this Dukla is not the Dukla that, you know, made all the successes as far as I know. It's a newly found club with the same logo and the same colors, so I'm fine with that. And then, you know, there is always some interest. I mean, Victoria Pilsen is one that really is glaringly, I have to get a Victoria Pilsen one. I should get that one. České Budějovice, because they're also black and white, and you know, it's really just up the road for me. I think in a bit more than an hour I would be in České Budějovice or Budweis. Budweiser is from, of course, the Budweiser beer, not necessarily the brand that Anheuser-Busch kind of crafted off them, and so they have to call it now Budvar. It's a much better beer there. In any case, let me know what you think about all these jerseys, especially the two new ones, which are the two dark ones, Sparta and Slavia. So Sparta home and Slavia away. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like these. Also look at my other channels where I talk about actual games. One in English, one in German. So it might be a little bit harder for if you don't speak German. But in any case, I will talk to you soon about more things in my soccer universe. Bye!